Education Cabinet Secretary is tonight sending a stern warning to principals with dire consequences if they send learners away.
And in business, we focus on cybersecurity and ICT infrastructure, plus in sports.
The Golf Sunshine Tour. Junior golfer Nathan Mwangi tops at the Karen County Club. All that coming up, but first things first. A look at our top stories tonight. '27 coalition loading.
UDA National Governing Council gives green light for pre-election coalition negotiations with ODM. Garissa attack.
Police launch multi-agency security manhunt for attackers who killed 2 people in Garissa. School closed.
4 AIC Matungulu High School students arrested following an early morning fire incident that left 15 injured. And in the corridors of justice,
3 committee maximum prison wardens jailed for aiding the escape of terror suspects. As of 23 degrees here in Nairobi, welcome to Broadcasting House. Good evening once again. My name is Mboya.
I am Muchuma Odim. Our socials at KBC Channel 1 on X, Facebook and YouTube. Our sign language expert tonight is Lucy Mwaura.
Straight to our top story. The National Governing Council of the ruling United Democratic Alliance Party has tonight given a green light for pre-election coalition negotiations with the Orange Democratic Movement.
President William Ruto, who chaired the NGC, says building on the gains his administration has achieved so far, a working agreement with ODM would give him an unassailable lead in the 2027 general election.
And it's that story put together by JJ Courier that opens our coverage tonight.
The party congregated at State House, Nairobi, for the National Governing Council, set to ratify the decision by the National Executive Council, held barely 2 weeks ago, to form a pre-election coalition with the Orange Democratic Movement.
Arambe!
A move President Ruto says it is more strategic than political.
We have agreed that this broad-based has worked. Has it worked or has it not? And it is said, if it is working, don't fix it. Sindio? So what we have agreed with the leadership of ODM, that let us explore the option and the opportunity of having a coalition going into the next election.
While drumming up support for the anticipated coalition, the president says the UDA manifesto has recorded significant progress in terms of implementation and that the UDA-ODM coalition would cement it even further.
This election in Abuja, we want to win by a margin of between 2 and 3 million. Mnanisikia? Wacha nirudie. This election, the last election, we won by a margin of 200,000. 200,000. This election, we must win by a margin of 2 to 3 million.
I am convinced we have done a good job. I am convinced whatever has not been done will be done before the next election. And I am convinced we will defend our scorecard in the next year's election.
We believed in you when we made you president in 2022. And today, more than any other time, we believe in you more.
The NGC also approved the fast tracking of the implementation of a NADCO report, with Parliament expected to process related bills once it's resumed from recess.
The National Governing Council notes and adopts the update of the National Dialogue Committee report and that of the COIN 10, and affirms the party's commitment to the political and constitutional process arising therefrom.
The party will also strengthen its grassroots presence ahead of the elections, with the NGC ratifying the decision to repeat recently held grassroots elections in polling centers that recorded minimal turnout.
You can be official of the party, lakini ikifika pale kabla ya uchaguzi 6 months, una step down, ndio uchaguzi ikuwe free and fair for everybody.
Tuwe na umaarufu kama UDA hapa mashinani, ili nguvu ambazo tunahitaji kutoka kwa rais kwa mambo ya kimataifa zisipunguke.
UDA ni fire, si fire.
John Jacob Kuria, Prime Edition.
Onto the fire story, where 4 students of the AIC Matungulu High School have been arrested following an early morning fire. The education department in Matungulu has since closed the school indefinitely.
Now that fire that razed 3 dormitories left 5 students critically injured. The 5 are currently admitted at the Kangundo, level 4 hospital, with 10 others being treated at the scene.
The fire has left approximately 300 students without mattresses, blankets, uniforms, and other essential items.
Now, authorities have launched investigations into the cause of the fire as assessment of the damage continues.
Kuna dormitory ambazo zilichomeka jana usiku. Na ukiangalia hii si kitu mzuri. Hii ni mambo ya indiscipline. Tunaomba tafadhali wazazi, mimi nikiwa kiongozi wenu, ongeeni na vijana wenu, ongeeni na wasichana wenu, wakienda shule wawe na discipline, wa maintain discipline. Walienda hapo kusoma, walienda hapo kutafuta their future, waachane na maneno ya drugs, waachane na maneno ya kusema ati we want our right. Kwa sababu sasa ile gharama umeona iko hapa, wazazi nyinyi ndio mtalipa.
Ile mambo hawa vijana walifanya hatujafurahia. Kwa hivyo hata ile hasara tumeona sio mzuri. Tungeomba wazazi waongee na watoto wao, hii mambo ya kuchoma shule iishe.
Now, the National Police Service has launched a manhunt following a deadly attack in Hulugo, that's in Garissa County, that has left a local chief and a teacher dead.
In a statement on Monday, police confirmed the incident, saying a coordinated operation involving multiple security units had been launched to track down those behind the killings.
Now, the teacher served at Hulugo Primary School while the chief was in charge of Boma location.
Hali WI compiled these reports.
The National Police Service has confirmed that the incident happened in Hulugo area of Garissa County, where unknown assailants attacked and killed a local chief and a teacher.
Akamfyatuliwa marisasi na akauliwa kinyama. Mpaka saa hii hatujapata ripoti yote, mwalimu mwili wake umechukuliwa na hatujapewa hakikisho kwamba usalama wetu utalindwa maeneo haya. Sasa sisi tunaomba tume ya kuajiri walimu TSC itushughulikie, itoe mahali hapa, alafu tupeleke mahali ambapo ni salama.
I'm traumatized because my colleague whom we were staying in the same plot with, the next room was attacked. They came to my house first and they realized that mwalimu was not there. I think ni kama walikuwa wanamtarget yeye, because they came to my room, asked me a few questions and then proceeded to his room.
Following the incident, multi-agency security teams were immediately deployed to the area to secure the scene, restore calm and launch a manhunt for the suspects. Police say the operation is ongoing, with officers intensifying patrols in Hulugo and its surrounding areas as investigators work to establish the circumstances under which the attack occurred. Area leaders have condemned the attack and urging security agencies to enhance security in the area and bring the perpetrators to justice. It is reported that the attack took place at dawn when heavily armed militants struck multiple targets in the area. The assailants first invaded the chief's residence, shooting him at a close range. The militants subsequently targeted the teacher's home, forcing him outside before killing him. A short distance away, immediately fleeing the scene.
Education Cabinet Secretary Julius Ogamba has cautioned school principals against refusing to admit learners without school fees and uniforms as per the recent directive by the government.
Ogamba says only 8% of grade 10 learners had not yet reported to school at the time of the presidential directive, hence admitting them will not put a strain on the resources of the various schools.
The Education CS has warned that principals sending away learners risk disciplinary action, including possible dismissal, as reported by Nancy Okware.
2 weeks since the inaugural grade 10 class started reporting to school, the government is keen to mop up 8% of learners who had not reported by Thursday last week, as it seeks to achieve 100% transition. Speaking earlier today, Education Cabinet Secretary Julius Migos warned school heads against failing to admit learners without school uniforms and fees.
If, for example, you have admitted 700 students and then you have 4 or 5 who have not paid fees or who do not have school uniforms, these 5 or 4 cannot make it impossible for you to run the school. So the principals need to support the directive of the government.
The CS said that action will be taken against principals not complying with the directive.
And from today, data is being collected in the field. Should we find any principal who has returned a child home on the reason of them not having school fees or of them not having school uniform, action will be taken through the employer, the TSC, including dismissal from their jobs.
He maintained that the government had already released the first installment of capitation, which amounts to 50% of the annual capitation, to ensure smooth running of first term.
That amount is to sustain the students for the first term of this financial year, of this academic year. So issues relating to whether or not we're going to be able to release more money are conversations that we'll have, and we look at what can be done within the budgetary constraints that exist.
The CS also defended the capacity of learning institutions to handle the learners reporting for grade 10 amid concerns that some schools may be overwhelmed.
If, for example, a school's population initially was, say, 4,000, it was 4,000 divided by 4, meaning a class would have 1,000. Now it is 3. So it is now 4,000 divided by 3. You would increase that number slightly, maybe to 1,500 or to 1,200 because of the extra space that they had. That's the alignment that is being done, and we'll continue working with the schools where they need support. We're working with actually TSC to ensure that where the students have been selected to go into those particular subjects, they avail those teachers.
He added that 50% of grade 10 books had been distributed to schools by last week Friday, with the remainder set to reach schools by the end of January. The CS spoke in Nairobi during a high-level development partners meeting on education financing. Nancy Okware, Prime Edition.
On to a learning status report now. A new learning assessment conducted by education lobby Usawa Agenda has revealed notable gains in literacy among lower primary learners, but exposing deep concerns in numeracy, sanitation facilities, and inequalities between public and also private and refugee schools.
Speaking during the launch of the second foundational literacy and numeracy assessment report for the year 2025, stakeholders have called for urgent intervention as critical questions emerge about the country's preparedness to position itself as the STEM-driven economy.
As put together by Joseph Ohungo.
As learners settle down in schools for first term, the poor state of infrastructure continues to be singled out as a challenge, according to an assessment conducted across the 47 counties in July 2025 by Usawa Agenda. 173 learners share a single hand washing point, while 47 girls share one toilet and 61 boys rely on a single toilet in schools.
If you are 61 and you need to use a minute each during the break, that is an hour of break time, which you don't have. You have 15 minutes.
However, there has been marked improvement in literacy, with 1 in every 2 grade 4 learners being able to read and comprehend a grade 3 level story, up from 4 in 10 recorded in 2023. The data further indicates that girls continue to outperform boys in literacy nationwide, except in refugee communities where boys show slightly better results.
That improvement for me in literacy is a good beginning. We need to build on it. We need to find out how to build on it and protect it.
We are very grateful to the teachers, and we are happy to hear that there's that kind of improvement.
On numeracy, only 34% of learners achieved the expected competency levels in mathematics compared to 51% in literacy.
There could be many other variables, including the ratio of math to language teachers in schools that need to be looked into.
Concerns have also been raised about the country's ambition to strengthen science, technology, engineering, and mathematics education, as functional numeracy skills remain weak.
We have a foundational learning guideline which has addressed all these challenges and how we can overcome the challenges. So through the guidelines, we know and we are sure that as a government, these learners will be able to catch up.
The assessment also highlights inequalities in rural areas where 36% of grade 6 learners cannot read and comprehend a grade 3 story, compared to 28% in urban areas. The report says the situation is worse in public schools, where nearly half of grade 6 learners struggle with basic reading, compared to 19% in private schools.
The issue of teachers, the Teacher Service Commission are here. They have something to say about that. We want to understand. If a grade 6 child cannot read grade 3 work, what has the Teacher Service Commission got to say about this? Because they're the ones that are tooling teachers, they're the ones that are working the teachers.
In refugee schools, nearly 1 in 2 grade 6 learners cannot read and comprehend an English story, and more than half are unable to solve grade 3 level mathematics. Joseph Wahungu for Prime Edition.
Staying with education matters, Sebastian Onyango, a 2025 grade 9 candidate at Nyakwere Primary School in Migori County, who scored 62 points, has shocked his teachers and classmates after choosing to repeat grade 9 due to lack of school fees.
Believe it or not, Onyango pleaded with teachers to allow him to repeat grade 9 with the hope that his family will afford fees next year round.
Onyango's case is not isolated and brings to the fore the critical questions on access to education for vulnerable children in Kenya.
Tess reports.
Donned in his old junior school attire, a visibly torn sweater and informal shoes, Sebastian Onyango, last year's top-performing grade 9 candidate at Nyakwere Primary School, reported to school like any other learner. Teachers who assumed he had returned to prepare for his transition to senior secondary school were stunned after the truth emerged that Onyango was choosing to repeat grade 9, not due to poor performance, but poverty. Inside the classrooms, learners expressed shock and sadness upon learning that their top student would not be joining senior secondary school. Sebastian pleaded with his teachers to allow him to repeat grade 9 and receipt the Kenya Junior School Education Assessment.
I'm requesting my teachers, please don't send me away. Let me be and continue learning with my fellow learners so that I can get a grade that will enable someone to sponsor me, because back at home there is nothing.
One of the teachers reported to my office telling me that one of our boys has come back to class to repeat, and we are well aware that the issue of repeating is never there. Actually, the boy did very well, passed, managed the 62 points, was selected to join Oriwo Senior School, but unable to report.
Despite appeals from teachers to proceed to grade 10 and even small financial contributions to help him meet basic school requirements, Sebastian remained resolute. He vowed not to leave the school compound, emotionally explaining that his family could not afford the costs of senior secondary education.
I received my admission letter from Oriwo Boys High School, but I am unable to go there, so I decided to come here and repeat because my parents are unable to pay that school fee.
I've been his class teacher for the past 3 years, and this boy has been struggling through his education in junior school, and even affording meals alone or lunch alone in school was very difficult.
Sebastian revealed that staying at home while classmates he had outperformed joined grade 10 left him emotionally distressed and depressed.
I was not feeling good seeing my fellow student whom I defeated, carrying boxes, joining senior schools, and I was at home, so I was ashamed. Then I decided just to come and repeat.
The school community is now appealing to well-wishers, sponsors and education authorities to intervene and support Sebastian so he can join grade 10 and continue pursuing his academic dreams. For Prime Edition, I am Teresa Mutai.
From Tess Mutai report, if you like, Teresa Mutai, to another grade 10 item.
And Nandi Senator Samson Cheregai has urged school principals to admit all grade 10 learners yet to join schools in the country, in line with the directive by President Ruto.
Speaking during a Thanksgiving ceremony for Archbishop of the Metropolitan Eldoret Orthodox Church, Neophytes Kongai Cherargei, together with Aldai, Member of Parliament Mary Ann Keitani, lauded schools management in the county for improved learners' performance.
The leaders also congratulated the Orthodox Church for supporting education in Nandi. On his part, Archbishop Kongai cautioned leaders against political interference of school development.
About niulize kama iko mtoto wa grade 10, rais ametoa directive, na unajua rais akiongea ameongea ni kama vile bishop ameongea. It is the law. The president has directed kila mzazi, kama uko na mtoto wa grade 10, chukua yeye alifanya grade 9 aingie grade 10 bila uniform. Ile uniform ako nayo. President gave directive in Meru, in Kinoru. Sasa nashangaa watu wengine wanajaribu kusahisha rais. Unasahisha rais kama nani? Hiyo ni kama rewrite the Bible, because that is the law. What the president has says is the law.
And I want to congratulate the students of Aldai constituency wote, wenye wako day school, wenye wako boarding school. For the first time performance ya mashule zangu zimeenda juu. I have schools kama shule inaitwa Musasa huko. For the first time imeproduce 17 students wanaenda university.
President William Ruto has launched the report by Technical Working Group on Gender-Based Violence, declaring the issue a national crisis that demands urgent and coordinated action.
Ruto says the Nancy Baraza-led report unifies these voices from across the country, revealing the alarming scale and complexity of gender-based violence in Kenya, with women and girls excessively affected.
Well, key proposals in the report include treating GBV, including femicide, as a national crisis, enhancing law enforcement capabilities, legislative reforms, and fostering national awareness. President Ruto says that ending GBV is a collective responsibility.
For this recommendation, Your Excellency, is that once you declare it a national crisis, it will get the highest response from the highest office, and it will get urgent, coordinated, and survivor-centered action.
Protecting life, dignity, and safety is not optional. It is a core duty of a state. That said, however, ending gender violence is not the work of government alone. Parents and families and communities must nurture respect and non-violence from every home. Religious institutions must uphold the sanctity of life and dignity. Community leaders and elders must reject harmful practices and silence around abuse.
24 minutes past the top of the hour. Time for our first break. But coming up,
clean energy rollout and much more. But first, we take a breather. When we return, continue talking to us on all our social media platforms at KBC Channel 1.
Tunatambulika kwa mandhari yetu ya kuvutia,
tamaduni zetu, ukarimu wetu, vyakula vyetu, uchapakazi,
na pia kwa sauti tofauti za watangazaji wetu waliobobea.
Libengo niko hapa aka upcoming sponsor. Bila shaka hapa ni kama Pedeshe, ma deep state pia vile cartels.
Tunaenzi talanta za pwani, tunakuza talanta za hapa kwetu nyumbani.
Tell a friend to tell a friend. Tuko mjengoni kama kawa na wanangu wengine wawili.
Usikose kutegea 103.1 Pwani FM, station ambayo itakupa fursa ya kupata uhondo kamili wa pwani na kuleta Wakenya pamoja.
Pwani FM, tafrija ya kipwani.
So how about we find out who we have for you today?
Wait a minute. You see, in this future,
Over show right here at the KICC with a fashion event dubbed Wiz Mario Collection Event.
Let us spotlight an artist whose 2025 was a marvelous year.
S-class, convoy inaongoza ni defender. Tisho inanuka ya kolona kutaka itaki sezi
His lyrics weren't just about rhyme. They carried meaning, leaving listeners with something to hold on to.
Welcome back to Prime Edition, our socials.
At KBC Channel 1 on X, Facebook and YouTube. On to drought mitigation item, Tom.
And now the Environment's Principal Secretary, Engineer Festus Ngeno, says urgent investments in health, nutrition and water services is critical as prolonged hot and dry conditions continue to weaken community resilience.
The PS notes that vulnerable populations are now heavily dependent on the March, April, May long rains for recovery and food security.
Here's that report.
Kenya has intensified its multi-agency response to the worsening climate crisis, rolling out locally tailored climate resilience programs in 10 drought-hit counties. Environment Principal Secretary Engineer Festus Ngeno has also urged IGAD member states to urgently strengthen regional capacity to confront the escalating climate emergency. He emphasized the need for coordinated early warning systems, climate financing, and joint response mechanisms to confront the escalating climate emergency in the Horn of Africa.
I think the critical aspect is how do we build resilience within the ASAL counties. Financing locally led climate action programs, FLOCA programs, and other programs that are being rolled out by governments is supposed to build resilience for communities.
According to the National Drought Management Authority, 10 counties across the country are currently experiencing drought conditions.
The government is well aware that we need to build resilience, and therefore, climate change is a moving target. Now it is drought. In the next few weeks or months, we will have rains coming, and therefore the same counties usually also are affected by floods. So we are working on programs to build resilience within communities so that they can be able to get mitigated against the same.
Wajir, Garissa, Kilifi, Marsabit, Kitui, Kwale, Kajiado, Isiolo and Tana River are under alert phase, while Mandera County has escalated to the alarm phase.
The PS is right. We look governments, private sector and other partners to invest in climate services, because we have demonstrated any investment you get 7 times if you invest in climate services. Climate services is just a matter of providing climate information in a way that can assist individuals and organizations to make wise decisions.
So we should not rely on others. Yes, I fully agree. We have to use our own knowledge, our own resources to address our own problems.
The situation has been worsened by the failure of the 2025 short rains, with similar dry conditions being reported in the neighboring countries, including Somalia, Tanzania, and Uganda, underscoring the transboundary nature of the crisis across the region. The government has cautioned that up to 2.5 million Kenyans could face severe hunger and acute water shortages if the drought persists. Michael Mondiga for Prime Edition.
Vihiga Governor Wilbur Otichilo is on the spot after an authorized transaction made to the County Assembly of Vihiga where 5 million shillings of public monies were used for the Speaker's housewarming party.
Now, appearing before the Senate County Public Accounts Committee, Otichilo was at pains to explain why the coffers meant to pay the contractors for services rendered were used instead to throw an extravagant party at the Speaker's residence on the 15th of December in 2023.
And as Abdiaziz Hashim now tells us, the committee has given the governor until the close of this financial year to refund the 5 million shillings. Failure to do so will forward the findings to the EACC.
To finance housewarming of a speaker.
It was an extravagant housewarming party at the palatial residence of the Speaker of Vihiga County.
If you are to put it in a language that the public understands, it's like you are stealing money from contractors and taking it to the members of County Assembly.
That emerged at the Senate County Public Accounts Committee, where Vihiga governor was at pains to explain why the coffers meant to pay contractors for services rendered were used to throw a party at the Speaker's residence on the 15th of December 2023 at the expense of the taxpayers.
The money that was given was for the official opening of the Speaker's house. That's what I know, but the writing
Governor, the narration here.
The narration here.
The narration is borrowing to finance Speaker's housewarming. When Parliament assemblies have gone on recess, which 5 million. Those are 3 ECD classrooms.
On how public money should be used, and I think that should be the question. If today there is no drugs in where we were, what is the name of that place? Near Nyangori, and the Speaker wants to do a housewarming of 5 million.
The Auditor General further established that the funds allocated to the County Assembly in total for the financial year under review were 9 million shillings, where a portion of the said funds were used to pay MCA's car loans and mortgages, contrary to the Public Finance Management Act.
The executive should tell us, is there any commitment based on this letter to repay this money to the county executive? Why didn't the substantive clerk be the one to write this letter to the county executive?
Yes, I think I appreciate your advice and I'll take action.
The Moses Kajwang-led committee ruled that county officials within the Department of the Finance who made the transaction must face the full force of the law.
One is action be taken on the illegality of transferring money from ring-fenced funds without the necessary authority. That is an offense in the Act. Number 2, the accounting officer must recover the funds. The Auditor General had read to us some provision in the regulations that places that responsibility on the accounting officer.
Abdiaziz Hashim for Prime Edition.
Now, the government has rolled out a health quality assurance program seeking to inculcate quality care right across various levels of healthcare facilities in the country.
Presiding over the launch in Kisumu, the Principal Secretary in charge of Public Health and Professional Standards, Mary Muthoni, says Kenya Quality Model for Health Plus will seal the gaps derailing the universal health coverage rollouts.
Wycliffe Okech with more details.
Poor infrastructure at health facilities, inadequate medical supplies, demoralized healthcare workers, and ineffective service delivery to patients have vastly derailed the full rollout of the universal health coverage by compromising the quality of healthcare delivery. To address these gaps, the Ministry of Health has teamed up with the development partners in rolling out the Kenya Quality Model for Health Plus program, seeking to inculcate quality care at every level of healthcare service delivery.
When we talk about quality of care, it's all round.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the quality in terms of training of healthcare workers, because we do not want amateurs to come and operate on you. You'll die on the hospital bed.
Mary Muthoni, the Principal Secretary in charge of Public Health and Professional Standards, says the program intends to bring structured quality improvement closer to communities and frontline health facilities across the country.
I am supposed to go to a facility and walk out happy. I'm not supposed to go to a facility and then walk out of there when I'm more unwell than when I presented myself.
What we do with the patient the moment they arrive at the gate and the moment they leave is of top-notch quality. And that quality can be monitored at all levels.
The model also seeks to ensure patient safety.
And we started off also equally with the quality of care and patient safety bill that is now in Parliament, because we do not want this haphazard way of patients being neglected and then they complain in the social media.
PS Muthoni further reiterated the SHA registration call. For Channel 1 from Kisumu County, I am Wycliffe Okech.
A story we teased for you before we took a short break. Kenya has marked the International Day of Clean Energy with a renewed push to turn policy into action at the grassroots.
In Kitui County, the government rolled out clean cooking devices, trained communities on renewable energy, and commissioned new electricity connections under the last-minute program as it works towards universal access to power and clean cooking by 2030.
Ben Chumba reports from Kitui.
As the world marked the International Day of Clean Energy, celebrations in Kitui went beyond speeches. Focusing on practical solutions aimed at changing how communities cook and access power.
Our message to Kenyans is that the government remains fully committed, not just by word, but by action. We have made practical steps as a country which puts us in a good position to be able to realize our universal access to, of course, electricity, and also adoption of clean cooking by the year 2030.
At the Kitui Energy Center, community groups were trained on clean cooking and renewable energy technologies before receiving energy-saving cook stoves designed to reduce fuel use and indoor pollution.
This energy center particularly is very keen in involving the community and training them in areas of clean energy. Because we know this is important in terms of supporting government programs and the vision to attain clean energy transition. We train them in various clean energy technologies, solar systems, solar water heating systems, biogas and all that. And most importantly, we also provide technical capacity for the ones who would want to install this in their homes so that we can support the communities as we all transition to clean energy.
The Kitui facility is one of the 17 energy centers across the country, with plans underway to expand the model to more counties.
They'll still go on and train other people on how to fabricate the cookstoves, and at the same time, we will be expecting a lot of people to come also to learn from us. So what we encourage people is just adoption, so that they can adopt these technologies that we have in this station, and they use them in the home state.
For beneficiaries, the clean cooking devices are expected to improve health and create new income opportunities.
Jiko mzuri sana na nimefurahi sana kwanza kuziona hizo jiko vile zimetengenezwa kwa grade ya juu sana.
Tunaungua kuni saa zingine wa mama tunashinda. Kama sasa mimi sina nguvu nikienda kuchonga kuni huko kwa kicheka ninashinda. Lakini makani kuita watu wale wanauza makani na chukua karai naonga hiyo makani inanisaidia. Sasa itakuwa urahisi.
Beyond clean cooking, the government also commissioned new last-mile electricity connections in Kitui West, expanding access to power under the Rural Electrification Program.
This financial year, Kitui County has been allocated some 2.5 billion shillings to connect more than 20,000 households. In fact, 23,000 thereabout households to electricity. That's a very, very big number. And it's the kind of money that has not been seen coming into this county or any other county for a long time.
In the project, more than 1,000 households are set to benefit.
Katika mpango ya Mheshimiwa Rais Ruto, yatakana kila kijiji iwe na stima.
stima ifike kila kijiji, na ikiwezekana ifikie kila boma, na ikiwezekana zaidi ifike katika kila nyumba. Hiyo ndio mpango na vision ya Mheshimiwa Rais. Lakini vile tunajua ya kwamba safari ya mahali 10,000 huanza na hatua ya kwanza, si ndio?
Ben Chumba, Prime Edition.
This isn't your business, and it's an arduous journey.
Medical supplies is a crucial task. The faster we can fetch them, the better.
You're the most experienced in disaster rescue. When we get there, we'll all follow your lead.
Yes.
Do you think this can block a bullet?
Dr. Pub, did you fail physics? You're expecting that to block a bullet?
That's true.
They're running out. We might not even have enough for tomorrow.
Swam, have you read Love in the Time of Cholera? Think we look like that now?
Welcome back to Prime Edition. In business, maize traders have been given a 1-month ultimatum to release stocks in their possessions to the market, failure to which the government plans to allow in duty-free imports.
Agriculture Cabinet Secretary Mutahi Kagwe blames high maize flour prices on hoarding of maize by farmers hoping for better prices.
The price of maize flour has risen in recent weeks in what Agriculture Cabinet Secretary Mutahi Kagwe blames on hoarding by farmers. To ensure that protection of consumers from high prices is prioritized, Kagwe has warned that duty-free maize might be allowed in to cool prices if those holding the grain do not release it to the market.
I would like to appeal to those people who are holding maize, farmers who are keeping maize, to bring maize to us in the next 30 days. After 1 month, if we don't have enough strategic reserves for the country, we will then move to the next stage, which is importing duty-free maize.
Kagwe says the National Cereals and Produce Board has since last year targeted to buy 1.7 million bags of maize at a price of 4,000 shillings per 90 kilo bag.
Tunanunua mahindi na 4,000 shillings.
However, just 186,000 bags have so far been delivered, highlighting that the grain is either being held by farmers or traders for speculative reasons.
We would like to collect about 1.7 million bags. But right now we have only collected 186,000 bags. But we are looking for 1.7 million bags. What does that mean? It means that somebody somewhere is keeping maize, anagojea asikie drought imeenda baya zaidi, ndio pengine bei iende hapo juu kidogo.
He says the long-term goal is to build up stocks at the National Cereals and Produce Board depots to 4 million bags of maize.
Ile mahindi sisi tuko nayo kwa wakati huu haiwezi kututosha Kenya nzima, hatuwezi. Bado tunarua kidogo kutoka Uganda, kutoka Tanzania na kwingineko.
Besson Rioba reporting for Prime Edition.
Government targets to raise over 6 trillion shillings in the next 10 years in pension funds, which will be tapped for infrastructure development and economic growth.
President William Ruto says that Kenya is seeking to finance its growth agenda through locally sourced funds, which will be invested in expansion of roads, airports, railways, and seaports.
Here's that report.
There were 3.6 million people who were saving at the National Security Fund. As of mid-2025, the statutory fund was holding 572 billion shillings of members' funds as at mid-last year. NSSF targets to grow assets to 1 trillion shillings by the year 2027. NSSF, jointly with private pension schemes, held 2.52 trillion shillings as of the end of June 2025. Such money will not be lying idle.
By next year, 2027, we will have 1 trillion shillings at NSSF. Tell me what's going to happen in 5 years, in 10 years, in 20 years. In 10 years, we will not be borrowing money from China or any other country for that matter. We will be using our own savings to drive our development.
President Ruto says on-source financing, innovation, including pension funds, public-private partnerships and securitization has so far helped settle pending bills for roads. And now future projects totaling about 5 trillion shillings await funding with such methods.
We are mapping out an extra 28,000 kilometers. We want to make sure that we connect Kenya. We are mapping out 2,500 kilometers of dual carriageway. And we are mapping out a new airport and the new airport, for your information, will begin before June this year, here in Nairobi.
Currently, Kenya is establishing a 5 trillion national infrastructure fund to mobilize cash for projects in energy, transport and agriculture. The kitty will mobilize cash from privatization of some state-owned enterprises, public-private partnerships and the capital market.
We are going to have alternative sources of revenue for us to finance our plan. We are going to bring in innovation. We are going to think outside the box for us to be able to finance our infrastructure.
Alanauko, Prime Edition.
The Kenya Cybersecurity Resilience Project has been rolled out to beef up the country's cybersecurity space amid a rapidly growing digital economy.
Broadcasting and Telecommunication Principal Secretary Stephen Isaboke says the project will be implemented over the next 3 years, focusing on strengthening governance, institutional coordination, and public awareness while protecting critical digital infrastructure.
Ndutamo Kami compiled these reports.
Cyber attacks hit an all-time high in Kenya between April and June last year, when 4.59 billion incidences based on data from the Communications Authority of Kenya were recorded. To enhance cybersecurity, Kenya is rolling out the Kenya Cyber Resilience Project to support the review of national cybersecurity policy, the identification and protection of critical information infrastructure, and the establishment of a national cybersecurity agency to provide leadership during cyber incidences and future crises.
Your biggest issue is not now your physical borders or your brick and mortar. It is cyber. And you can actually see the effect or what can happen if your cyber space is breached. The risks are far too high to actually let loose, and hence the reason for this meeting.
Also looking at how we can leverage global partnership so that Kenya becomes a key player when it comes to cybersecurity.
He says cybersecurity is key for economic growth, public trust and national stability, noting that digital public services, financial systems and communication networks are critical national infrastructure.
Cybersecurity is a global issue, and we want to be able to share intelligence and skills and capacity with our global players.
Our first priority is to move away from fragmented frameworks towards a clear, robust, legal and institutional environment. Without a unified rulebook or playbook, our defenses remain uncoordinated and face a risk to our digital sovereignty.
A key focus will also be placed on public awareness and inclusion, with nationwide cyber hygiene campaigns targeting users of digital public services, supported by an interactive online training and certification platform. Ndutamo Kami for Prime Edition.
Meanwhile, government is seeking to increase rice production in the country through the construction of a major irrigation canal in Mutithi, that's in Mboya constituency, which is set for completion by August this year.
Mboya Irrigation Scheme Chairman Peter Shege says the project is expected to increase rice cultivation by 10,000 acres within the scheme, significantly boosting rice production in the country.
Sylvia Gatti reports.
The 1 billion shillings project under the National Irrigation Authority, which is set to be completed by August this year, aims to expand irrigation in the Mutithi area and strengthen the overall capacity of Mboya Irrigation Scheme.
Tungeomba tu kwa heshima serikali kupitia NIA wakamilishe huu mpango kwa haraka, kwa sababu wakulima especially huu msimu wameenda hasara sana. kwa sababu kulikuwa na uhaba wa maji.
Chege says the expansion is expected to also reduce the national rice deficit, which is currently standing at 700,000 metric tons, forcing the government to import rice to meet demand in the country.
Vile mashamba inaongezeka kule Mutiri expansions, serikali ikipanua canal, tutakuwa na double katika production within the scheme.
To overcome previous water scarcity issues, the project will heavily rely on water from the Thiba Dam, which provides a consistent water supply for both primary and ratoon crops.
Wakati hatukuwa na dam, kulikuwa na kilio kubwa sana, especially mwezi wa 9 na Januari. Lakini wakati huu, hata kama bado matatizo iko, lakini ilipungua.
The expansion project, along with other improvements such as rehabilitation of the K3 feeder canal, is expected to enhance food security and improve the livelihoods of farmers in Kirinyaga.
Je, wewe ni mpenda soka? Na je, wajua kuwa KBC mwenzio wako wa dhati michezoni anakujali? Ndio maana KBC Channel 1 hukuletea taarifa na uchambuzi wa soka.
Kafu ndio wamechukua usukani
humu nchini, barani Afrika na ugaibuni, ikiwemo EPL, Serie A, Bundesliga na ligi zingine. Mashabiki pia hutuzwa kwa kujibu maswali kuhusiana na soka.
Swali letu la leo.
Haya yote ni kwenye kipindi cha Dunda Dunda kwenye KBC Channel 1 kila Ijumaa kuanzia saa 5 asubuhi hadi saa 6:30 mchana.
Nawahimiza Wakenya waendelee ku-watch Dunda Dunda show.
KBC, mwenzio wa dhati michezoni.
Let's now get sporty now. Kenya women's national under-20 football team Rising Starlets have intensified their training ahead of the upcoming World Cup qualifier match against Tanzania.
Starlets will host the opening match at the Ulinzi Sports Complex on the 7th of next month before traveling to Tanzania for the return leg a week later at the Azam Complex.
Frederick Moki reports.
Confidence is high within the Kenyan camp following a dominant performance in the previous round where the Rising Starlets brushed aside Ethiopia with a commanding 5-1 aggregate victory. The emphatic result underlines the team's attacking quality and a growing maturity at this level. Headed into the Tanzania tie, the Rising Starlets will be keen to make full use of home advantage in Nairobi before shifting focus to managing the away fixture.
Mi niko prepared, niko physically, niko best. Juu zoezi tumekuwa tukipewa iko juu vile inafaa.
Niko sure, tuko na teamwork, tuko na unity, tuko na courage, kocha wanaoka on mental strength zetu, na niko sure tukicheza na Tanzania tutashinda game zetu.
A positive result at Ulinzi is expected to be key as Kenya seeks to stay on course in their push for a place in the next round of World Cup qualification.
AIC, lakini inalingana vile umeset mentality yako like, kama player, because si kila kitu inakuja rahisi. Kama kusema champion ni rahisi, lakini kuwa champion ndio ngumu. So we must fight.
Frederick Moki for Prime Edition.
Kenya's Dominic Kondoro clinched victory at the 23rd edition of the Lifetime Miami Marathon in Miami, Florida, after clocking 2 hours, 17 minutes and 48 seconds. Kondoro led a strong field, finishing ahead of Zimbabwe's Bradley Makuvure, who placed second.
Brazil's Edson Vilela Pereira completed the podium in the third with a time of 2 hours, 21 minutes and 10 seconds, competing in Miami for the first time. Kondoro faced additional challenges after winter storms disrupted his preparations, leaving his coach stranded in Dallas, US, and unable to attend the race.
Despite the setbacks, Kondoro delivered a determined performance even after twisting his ankle at mile 20. The ladies' title was won by Christina Welsh at Pittsburgh in 2 hours, 42 minutes, 14 seconds.
Olympic and world champion Faith Kipyegon has inaugurated a maternity ward in Keringet aimed at improving the maternal care within that region.
The Dare to Dream facility is set to reduce childbirth complications and provide women with essential health care.
Now, Kipyegon said that the initiative builds on last year's Breaking 4 project, which she attempted to become the first woman to run at a mile in under just 4 minutes.
Supported by Nike and the local community, the project seeks to uplift women's livelihoods and strengthen the area's development.
Now, the groundbreaking ceremony was attended by two-time world marathon record holder Eliud Kipchoge, NOC Kenya Deputy President Barnaba Korir, and other notable guests.
APS Silk Kakamega and Iron Ladies Academy are the new Western Region football champions after triumphing during the regional finals held at the Mumia Sports Complex.
APS beat PEFA Football Club 2-0 as Iron Ladies Academy claimed a 2-1 win over Luanda Ladies.
The two winners pocketed 1 million shillings each, while PEFA and Luanda Ladies were awarded $500,000 each.
Now, the third-place teams in Nyota FC and Chakoi Queens bagged home $250,000 shillings. In rugby, Mboya rugby women's team was crowned the champion after a 34-0 win over Shiewe rugby to finish the competition with a clean stint, having not conceded a try.
Masinde Muliro University beat Sigala Gala Polytechnic 19-5 to win the men's competition.
And coming back to this edition, we chose to come to Western because we wanted to try another region. It has been a good experience. We've had a good time. It's been competitive.
Senior golfer Nathan Mwangi topped the field at the Sunshine Development Golf Tour at Karen County Club after finishing first overall with 43 points in the championship, which had attracted 250 golfers.
Kithinji Kiragu finished second on 42 points after countback. Violet Luchendo settled third with 41 points, while Jo Sang followed in fourth position on 40 points.
Now, in the gross category, Ali Mohammed recorded a leading gross score of 75 to take top honors. Edwin Komen won the sponsor category with 42 points, while Renato D'Souza finished second on 38 points.
The junior category was won by Sheha Omanga, who returned 35 points.
Well, in the senior category, Margaret Thande claimed first place with 39 points. Minutes to 10 p.m. East African time. It's a wrap here on Prime Edition. We want to thank you so much on behalf of the Prime Edition for being with us over the last 1 hour. I'm Tom Mboya, and we're going to be back again tomorrow, same time, same place.
I am Muchuma Odim. Our sign language expert tonight is Lucy Mwaura. Good night. God bless you.
Bye-bye. See you tomorrow.
Sahi, ukidial star 419 hash option 4 ama uingie kwa tushinde.com, hakuna probox. Jaribu.
Ni ukweli. Yaani nimeshaingia na ndio tunafieka.
Ya inaona iko ndani. Wanaongelea nini hao?
Ni shamba.
Na sio moja, sio mbili, shamba 3 hapa Juja.
Very nice.
Na ni area moja development na growth iko promising sana. Stima iko ndani. Hiyo. Maji inapatikana. Wow. Security iko sawa na all basic amenities zinapatikana. Shamba ni 3 na kuingia kwa draw ili kujishindia moja kati ya shamba hizi 3 ni 35 bob pekee.
Na mtu akitaka zote 3.
Iko special ticket ya kuweza kujishindia shamba zote 3 kwa tikiti moja ya 99 bob pekee.
Hata hiyo.
Na barabara ni nywe mpaka kwa ploti yako na kila ploti is worth 1.5 million Kenyan shillings. Hii 2026 hatuland tu, tunaland mara 3 na tushinde.com au *419# option 4.
Umesema vizuri sana.
Nafieka.
It is that time of the week where we get to let you know everything that has been happening. Matters Entertainment, how are you?
Well, go on. Welcome to the biggest, the baddest. The baddest.
The baddest.
The baddest entertainment show. And you already know, Miss V, in the last week of this month, January finally is coming to an end.
Do you feel like this January has January the way January is?
Imekuwa noma. Mimi hata nimeshindwa kama ni mwezi ama hii imekuwa ni mwaka.
It's been too long.
It's been too long, not only for me, but I think kuna wase wenye wanaweza relate. Wewe ni kama umekuwa na do, Miss V.
Sasa mbona unanizungumzia jamani? But anyway, I didn't feel like this January was that long. You know, normally January feels like it's 99 days of January. I didn't feel like it was that long.
Inadepend na mfuko ndio inaongea hapa. So umekuwa fiti, mimi sijakuwa poa.
Tunashukuru Mwenyezi Mungu, tunamshukuru. Anyway guys, thank you for joining us. This is a Grapevine and we are about to get this show on the road. My name is Vivian Degwa, or you can simply just call me Miss V.
Jacques Mula, the party daddy, or you can call me Papi.
And you know what this right here is?
Grapevine.
What you gotta do?
All right, we're kicking off the show right here at the KICC with a fashion event dubbed Wiz Mario Collection Event. Now, a dream that started in Mandera tonight is walked into reality. This collection is defined with, long trench coats, classic timeless suits, and of course, the casual modern suits. So if you're ready like I'm ready, let's go.
We attended the launch of the Wiz Mario collection at the iconic KICC, and from the very first